Hey, what's going on? It's your boy Joe Thunder back once again with another episode of the Smoking Joe Thunder podcast. And you know we're bringing you the latest and greatest in hip hop and cannabis culture right here, 5280 Denver, Colorado, all over the motherfucking world. Shout out to Be Good Dispensaries, our official sponsor. Check them out for the latest and greatest in all your marijuana needs. Over there on 11 West Hampton, down south, up north, across the highway from Boondocks on 120th. Check them out. Got another banger for you today. You don't even know. I don't even know. This cat's been putting me on game for the last hour. And he's making moves. He got some dope music. Got a new album dropping. The Lord's Peace. New branding you're talking about.
Yeah,
July 29th, right?
absolutely.
We got motherfucking 05 in the house. What's
Bang.
going on?
What's good
MC,
with you?
producer, rapper,
Man,
promoter, hustler,
videographer,
videographer. God damn.
yeah, graphic designer, all of it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? How you
Yeah.
doing?
Man, I'm good, bro. I'm hyped. Thank you, bro. It's an honor to be on your podcast, bro.
Like I said, a couple of people been telling me about you, man. The homie
Yeah.
Shoe, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Been bigging
Yeah.
up in you, big up in you. You know what I'm saying? You gotta check him out. You gotta holler at him.
Yeah,
And
man.
I had Cody Beasley over here, shout out. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, those are my guys, man. Bo Shoe and Coca Shoe's like literally when I met Shoe, it was in a weird situation as far as like music back when he was doing music
Right.
and MCing. But ever since then, like that's the homie, and he made huge moves since then.
oh yeah,
Huge moves. And
he's
Cody's another one, man. Like that's my guy.
on a whole different level.
Oh, bro, he's passed a lot of motherfuckers in the game, bro. Like light years.
He's like on it's like running a mile,
Yeah.
and we're like on the first lap,
Like
and
what?
he's already finished. You know what I mean?
The
And
gunshot
still-
went, and he went a long time ago.
Yeah.
We're like, wait.
We're still at the starting line smoking weed and shit. You know what I mean? You know, hey, but tell me a little bit about you, man, and who you are, and what you got cracking, bro.
Yo, so like, I started out doing hip hop, MCing all the elements, like being.
That's how we did it back in the day till we got what we were good at, right?
Oh, bro, like first it was b-boying, trying to spin on my back, and
Yeah, I'm a fat motherfucker, so I couldn't do that shit. I could pop a little bit, but I wasn't, doing this.
Man, we stick to what we're good at,
Exactly.
And, even the graffiti, I did a little bit of graffiti. Even tried, spinning records. I actually, from spinning records, I got into producing, and so that's where it all started as far as me going into the MCing lane. You know what I mean?
So did you really start as producing or what?
Yeah, really. To be honest with you, it was drumming. So I played the drums. I got into playing the drums at 10 years old.
How was that through school, through church?
Through church. To be honest with you, it was an opportunity to get up on there. They needed someone to play the drums. Got up there to play the drums. And then in school, band, they had the option to say, hey, you want to...
Did you go to band camp, fool?
I didn't go to band camp. I went to a ghetto school, so they didn't offer that.
They didn't have band camp?
Yeah, they didn't have that, but they did offer used trumpets, saxophones, all that shit, and, I tried all of it. And so from that's how I got into, really just going into the production lane and drum machines, and my pops got one and needed someone to learn how to use it. I learned how to use it.
Oh shit, did your pops rap or what?
Nah, so my pops at a weird time in my life decided to go into being a pastor.
Okay.
And which is great because I'll tell you right now,
He found the Lord.
he did, man, at an early age, and he focused on it. I watched him, great example for me. He started a church probably in my teens, and that's when I actually was able to start learning and being able to use my abilities to make music. You know what I mean? He needed somebody that could do it and that could run the sound system. And I started learning how to run sound live for him, and
That's the first and most important part, bro. Really, if you could learn how to set up a fucking stage and mics and all that shit,
Early.
make it sound good.
early, you know what I mean? It was really a blessing in a weird disguise that, like, over time now, looking at it, like, damn, you know what I mean? Like, this, like, because my pops was in the church and he was doing his thing,
Right.
that blessing from him turned into me having the blessing and allow me to live off of something I absolutely love doing, you know what I mean? And a lot of people in the game say, oh, I do it for the love. motherfucker, you a liar. We do it because we're trying to survive off of it at some point.
Some bread.
And we love it still. But the fact that my pops had this passion for God, you know what I mean, and his faith in that. He invested in things he needed for his church, which allowed me to practice and learn stuff for what I'm doing now.
Did he ever like kind of come at you like rap is the devil?
No, my pops was, came from a crazy. My grandpa almost killed my pops because he was a partier and
was he the wild child, man?
He was a wild child. He was the youngest. My grandpa tried putting him into Catholic church to become a priest, and he actually met my mom at that time, and my mom was from a Christian family, and got him converted to Christianity. And that night, my grandpa's tried, putting him out, put a gun to his head in front of my grandma, and my auntie tried pulling the trigger and it wouldn't go off. Beat him with the tools from the toolbox. Like, I remember my auntie and my grandma talking about this, and I'm like, and that day was everything. A big change, I think, just for even me. Coming from somebody that went through that.
That could be traumatizing as fuck, bro. Like getting beat down with the tools.
Like but I learned faith from somebody that went through some crazy ass shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but I think that fueled the fire for me musically. You know what I mean? It really did. Watching my pops go through some stuff, even as a pastor, and knowing that you're gonna fuck up. He watched me go through, hanging with, the hood heads. You know what I mean? Smoking weed at a young age. You know what I mean? Getting into trouble at a young age, and for being a pastor, and watching his son go through things, he just was like, whatever you're going through, don't even trip. I'm with you. And he really did. So he's really been the one person that I'll pull the trigger for.
Right.
And
there's not many of those, right?
Nah, there's not even a handful. I can tell you. There might be, and that's with my kids. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, there's like definitely one man I'm pulling the trigger for. You know what I mean? And that's my pops.
Hey, being that you've kind of, like you said, you were into all the elements, which one do you like truly love out of all of them?
Oh man, MCing, bro. Like, I'm part of the bar gang. You know what I mean? Like that's what it is for me.
And your MCing goes deep, man. We talked about it. Running with Dent.
Yeah. That's like my OG,
basically.
Yeah.
Was it the Lost Gyms or the fucking?
So it started out. It was me, SP Double, and Obvious. We were non-existent. Started out at 14, 15 years old. Doing music with them, and
was that like your first group or what?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, non-existent was our first squad. Me, SP Double. And
how did you meet all those cats, or how did it all come together? How did y'all come together to say we're gonna make a group?
Me and SP met at a young age, kind of through the church and stuff.
The church.
Yeah,
I would have never guessed that.
Yeah, he knew some people that went to church. He went to church with some people that I knew. Man, it's crazy, bro, because everything kind of started out, around that atmosphere. You know what I mean? Even
because you're saying even Preach, you met Preach in church.
Preach the church. A lot of people don't know that Preach was heavy into church. At a young age, youth group. That's where I met these dudes. You know what I mean? So like early on for me, I think me and SP we met probably about 13 years old in youth group. Introduced him to the people I knew. Then me and him, he was like, "Yo, we're gonna start rhyming." I'm like, "Yeah." So we started rhyming. Met Obvious through SP because he met Obvious. He met Obvious. Man, I don't even know how he met Obvious. That was a weird.
That's a good question. Man.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I don't know where that piece of the puzzle comes from, but I know that
SP was just always building with fools. Music-wise,
he was out there everywhere
with everybody.
Yeah, he really did get out there with everybody.
From you to me to fucking Trev, like we were saying earlier, AP to Midas.
I mean, he really did like sponge himself out
Fresh
there.
Breath, he collabed with a bunch of people.
Fresh Breath came from Boostwell. If people don't know this, I'm saying it like straight out the gate, the reason why Fresh Breath came about is because Boostwell was a big ass conglomerate of a bunch of MCs SP put together. We would all meet at his place where the studio was, and that was Boostwell. That was Boostwell Entertainment.
So was Lost Gems first or Boostwell first?
Lost Gems, and that was me. That was SP actually came up with the Lost Gems, and that was me, SP, and Man the Myth.
Okay.
Originally, and then Precise came in.
God damn, you're saying some names I haven't heard in a minute.
Yeah.
Man the Myth, he had the beard looking all like a hippie, all crazy. Like,
man,
I remember him. Shout out.
Man the Myth was by far one of my favorite MCs as far as like the deep, like almost, I want to say like Thurston Hell type.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
voice.
about.
You know what I mean? Passing blunts.
Passing blunts, black and cool.
Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of how we started out.
Real quick, how did you meet Man the Myth?
Again, SP, man. He came out of nowhere. I think it was after SP started his tattoo shop, his first tattoo shop, off of Morrison.
By MGM's.
By MGM's, right there. That was the first main one. He had another one before that,
right?
But he moved it almost immediately.
That's when I kind of met him. Was at the shop at
Yeah. Where the battles were. Remember the Box Day battles?
That was before.
Oh, was it? Okay.
That was kind of a little before me, but yeah, I remember that. Preach was working there.
Yep, yeah. Everybody got their tattoo start there. I feel like SB.
For sure.
He was like, yo, here's the kit. This is how you do it. Even me, he was like, yo, you want to learn how to tattoo? I'm like, yo, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
did you ever tattoo anyone?
I did actually get into tattoo eventually. I'm a graffiti artist, bro. Like, so, I came up, doing that. Eventually it was going to happen, So I started out the ghetto way, though. Even though SB had the shit on lock, I learned how to make me a prison kit, you know what I mean? And
oh shit, were you tattooing homies at the crib or
what?
I
did me and my brother's first tattoos, bro.
What was it?
Oh man, I think I did.
Love you.
I think I did like a flower on my brother's arm, and then me, I did some steps, and I think I did a flower on me too. But then I went to actual kit, and I started doing it the right way.
That's funny, dog. That's funny. Hey, talk about Boostwell though, because like you said, that was kind of like a big crew. It started off with like a couple, before you know, y'all were what, 20 deep?
Oh, bro, it was bananas. That's a difficult one because there were so many great MCs in one room, and here's where the struggle was. I think it was an amazing idea, but the problem was everybody was not hungry; they were fucking starving. Like, give me the mic. Everybody was writing hot verses, but not everybody was getting the opportunity to shine when they wanted to. And so eventually, it just started being heated discussions where people were upset. I know I had to bounce at one point because it was just too much, and I was like, yo, I need to keep my fucking gun ready. You know what I mean? Like, I'm ready to buck, and I can't be. It's in the holster, homie.
Now I'm high. So are you talking about really shooting your gun, or are you talking about the verse?
I'm talking
the
verses,
the bars ready.
Yeah, I mean, from the
hood I'm high, I'm sure they're high out there.
Yeah.
Motherfucker, damn, in the studio, I thought y'all were homies.
Nah, like we were, everybody was just ready to shoot.
They had that heat.
It was just guns out, you know what I mean?
Name some of the cats like in a studio session that you would see, you know what I mean?
Oh man, I remember at one point it was fucking everybody from Fresh Breath. Me, fucking SP, Precise, Shoe, fucking bro, I don't like. There's so many heads that were there at one point. We were just smoking in the back and not even getting in there to work. You know what I mean?
It's more like I don't want to say like when I say clubhouse, I don't mean like a kids clubhouse, but like a biker clubhouse, like
an MC's clubhouse. You know what I mean?
Spot.
Like we literally, which was dope. Don't get me wrong, I fucked with it, man. Everybody had a good time, but when we're ready to get some shit in, like that was hard. We couldn't.
I'm trying to think, man. Like I kicked it with SP for a good minute, but I don't ever remember any music going down. Like they never recorded. Like I remember he was recording with Midas a little bit, but
right. Right.
I was never like, you know what I'm saying?
Those sessions, a lot of those sessions, I know like the sessions we got in were really more like kind of like late, 3 o'clock in the morning, man. I remember leaving, you know, SP's fucking house at, fucking 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the fucking morning, dog. Driving
Right.
back home, tired as fuck because, we were getting work put in. But, here's the thing. This wasn't, yo, we have a beat. We were literally making the beats
Right.
from the get. You know what I mean? Some of those sessions for the beats just to have them right and then mixed and mastered before we would go and record.
That's a lot of jobs right there.
That's hours of time, and then we're all working on our verses, and then it's getting the verses done. So you're talking 8-10 hours of just work when we're all working. You know what I mean? If we're doing a track, one track, that's not 2-3 tracks, like, and then you got a squad that's like,
Deep
16,
as fuck.
17, almost 20 deep.
How were like a lot of those songs made, man? Was it like just whoever was there, or was it like?
Yo, if you had your verse done,
Would you get your I don't know how I say. Would you get your verse done quick so you can get on the track or
you
some
know,
shit?
I'll be honest with you. I'm a fuck it, 2 tears in a bucket type head.
Right.
If I don't get my verse in, it's gonna go on something eventually, and if it's not on this, it's going on my shit. So it was never that way for me. I know a lot of other heads were like, yeah, I gotta get my shit in. Like that's where those heated discussions and why people were kind of getting heated. Why Booswell kind of dismantled at one point. You know what I mean?
Was it just too many heads, like
Too
you said?
many.
Everyone trying to get on the same shit.
Everybody
or trying
starving. Not enough scraps. You know what I mean? How do you eat when there's nothing to eat?
And who was making the beats at the time? Was it all SP?
No,
I mean,
yeah. I'll be honest with you, SP. He put in a lot of work on the beats, bro.
That's what I was gonna say. He can only make so many beats, bro. Too. You know what I mean? If you got a fucking
that
20
dude's a
cats.
machine. I'll give it to him. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I've been in sessions with him where he's cracked out in an hour. He can crack out 6-7 beats easy. You know what I mean? But when he puts his now, and I've been in sessions with him where he's put in hours to the point where he's got a band that comes in and plays exactly what he's sampled, what he's played out himself, and the band plays it. He's a magician, bro. I'll be honest with you. Like I got to give him his flowers where they're due. He does create some fucking crazy ass shit. But the process for us at that time was making beats, recording on Pro Tools, inside a shed, or at the studio if you, depending on if he had it at the tattoo shop.
Right.
He had a shot. He had his own studio at one point, but it was hard, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I was frustrated a couple times, like being in those sessions and not being able to get a verse in. That's hard.
Right.
When I got like, I'm like, no,
Ready to go.
I know I'm cooking this motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, what's up? Like I need on this, and then I don't get on it. I'm like, all right, come on.
Right. What's the difference between back then and what you're doing now?
Okay. Back then it was crew mentality. So you're thinking, okay, um, I gotta get one verse in. I might be on the hook.
Yeah.
I might be part of the concept. Versus now, it's all me.
It's all up to you.
It's
total creative control.
I'm painting like I'm throwing so much paint up on that motherfucker, and I'm going crazy. You know what I mean? Like, now I'm in control of being able to paint the picture. You know what I mean? And not that I didn't appreciate the ability to work with great artists, man, because a lot of those heads are great creatives. A lot of dope MCs, a lot of dope producers. You know what I mean? Mike Charles, Faux Chief,
Oh yeah.
PJ. I have me and Faux Chief, we go back since middle school, so he's a good homie in the sense that I know his music now. Even when he left he's not part of the crew shit no more.
Right. I remember when he didn't even rap.
Oh yeah, he used to break dance. Me and him used to break dance in gym class.
Nice.
You know what I mean? In 7th grade, 8th grade. You know what I mean? And so, his music now, I'll be honest with you, man, and this isn't. I don't blow smoke up nobody's ass. I don't do that type of shit. If I big you up, it's because I wholeheartedly big you up. That dude, what when I go into the studio and he's playing me son, I'm like, what the fuck, bro?
He's definitely taking
Oh, it's different. Creative wise, it's different because he left the crew mentality as well. He's in control now, and that me and him have had that conversation where he appreciates what he got out of the crew.
But it's a whole different game.
But it's a different game when you get into that solo realm and you're able to control that whole fucking universe. You know what I mean? You're in control of what that fucker looks like.
No, for sure, for sure. Like you said, it's a whole different game. You know what I mean?
Facts, facts.
Do you like it better?
Absolutely. You got me fucked up 2 times past Sunday, homie. And you got me going back to the cruise shit. Now, don't get me wrong. I got a squad that I roll with. We go by the gods. The greatest of Denver. You know what I mean? Or greatest of Denver scene. So if you ever hear us scream out, I'm fucking with the gods, that's what that means. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's all throughout my music. It's all throughout the homies' music that are on my albums and shit. But but it's not a squad in the sense where we're like, hey, we're squad and we're doing the Wu-Tang shit. No, we're doing like we have our own albums and we feature whoever the fuck we want. If we have each other on the shit, but we go to each other's fucking events and we roll deep that way. You know what I mean?
For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, how would you kind of like describe your style for the people, man?
Man, that's a tough one because I've been told that lyrically I resemble more of the East Coast type shit, like the underground, maybe again street hop type shit, but more on the East Coast. And then I'm heavily influenced by the down south and West Coast because I grew up, partly, in California and Colorado, and down south who wasn't fucking with anything, that was smoking music. You know what I mean? Who wasn't fucking with Bum B? You know what I mean?
Like, I remember the first time I heard Outkast, bro, right there by the silos.
Come on.
I was like, damn.
Elevators, you got me fucked up. I heard that on the clip show in 96, 97, right? And I'm recording this motherfucker, and I'm like, yo, this just flipped my mind lyrically. You know what I mean? Andre just, come on. You know what I mean?
Give me a 4-5 top 5.
Oh, bro, you're gonna hit me with that shit? Alright.
They could be MCs, or if you want, we can narrow it down. If you want, we can say lyricists, whatever you want.
I stay true to it. I'm always gonna be real and be Big Al, forever. I'm a Big Al fan.
Sure.
I feel like he was ahead of his time. People say that, but I truly feel like he was ahead of his time. We didn't have nothing like what he was serving up. You know what I mean?
Not at all.
So I'm putting Big Al there. Method Man, I'm a huge Method Man fan. You know what I mean? That's Pharaoh Monch has changed me cadence wise.
Yeah.
That's like me lyrically. A lot of people say you change your cadence throughout your music consistently. I'm like,
that's what
Pharaoh.
You need to do, yeah.
That's Pharaoh. Ever since I heard Internal Affairs, you know what I mean? It fucked me up. You know what I mean? So that's 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And the last 2, Pac. For sure, I'm very much into my
What do you believe? Like a lot of people say Pac wasn't lyrical, and like he wasn't super lyrical, but he had bars. You feel what I'm saying?
He wasn't a lyrical. In the sense of a lyricist MC, constructive wise, no, but he was in the storytelling way of a bar MC.
Like I'm honestly like I'm not not saying I've never really heard a whack Tupac line.
I listen to Pac consistently, bro. Like,
and I get it. Like I said, he's no Pharoah Monch or anything
right.
like that, lyrically wise. Razzcast or anything
right.
like that. But he still held it.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's an East Coast head technically, right?
I saw some little reel the other day, man, on one of the songs, and it fucking the shit that he just said in that little shit was like ridiculous. You know what I mean?
When I need to get into my feels of storytelling, I definitely go to Pac, bro. Like not in the sense of storytelling, but in the sense of a lyrical way of storytelling.
Right.
It's Pac for me, bro. Or Pharoah Monch, man. Pharoah Monch like fucks me up with his shit, bro. I'm a huge Pharoah fan. But those are 4. My 5th, man.
It's tough.
Bro, it's so fucking tough because there's so many great MCs, and I don't want Redman, bro. Redman.
Reggie.
Yeah. I can't leave him out, bro. Like, you
He's
know,
been consistent for a gang of years.
bro. You look, man. You ain't missing a Redman show, right? I mean, if he's here, you're going, right?
I've been to ton of them, middle and shit.
And now, if you're going cruise and you're talking top five cruise, bro, that's a whole nother story, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, let's hit the top five
oh
cruise.
man, okay, shit.
I already know Outkast is gonna be one of them.
Oh, Outkast is definitely in. That's first for me. Oh, okay, fuck that. Wu Tang, Outkast. I gotta go Wu Tang. That's my first out the gate. Okay, Outkast. Um, man.
I gotta throw in Tribe, bro. Me personally, Tribe is like a fucking staple. Like,
Okay, is it Tribe or are we going Native or separated or together in a sense?
I mean, you could like throw them all in there, but I would say separate.
Because Native was stupid, bro.
Like Native and the Liquid, you know what I mean? They were like different because
Yeah,
they had
bro.
more than like they were like for like you said the Boost Bowl, so they had like 20, 30 members in there.
Okay, I'm just gonna go out. I'll go Tribe, bro, because Tribe respectfully, I mean, for hip hop in the sense of like the backpacker style, you know what I mean? I feel like they kind of held down the back, not necessarily backpacker, but
The East Coast weirdo shit at the beginning.
Yeah.
They were weirdos at
Yeah.
the beginning. They weren't dressing like
right. Man,
And I'm gonna give it to the Far Side, bro. Far Side's one of my favorite groups of all time. They fucking their shit was totally different and they fucking rocked it.
I gotta go Psycho Realm.
Yeah.
Psycho Realm fucked me up, bro. I'm a big fan of Sick Jackin', man. Like, you know.
They're trying to bring them.
You know, that dude right there, I think for me as a Latino or Hispanic, you know what I mean? You know, them dudes were holding it down, the right way, I feel, especially for the West Coast.
Yeah.
MCs, because they're MCs, you know what I mean?
They're lyrical.
Lyrical as a motherfucker. I'm gonna throw a new head in, bro, or a new crew. Man, I'm fucking with Dreamville, bro. Like the different shit that's coming from Dreamville, man. Like I really fuck with the shit like Jid, that whole squad. They kind of roll together. I feel like even show wise, but